I'm Harrison Graham. Here's what we got coming up on Chicago Bears Now. We've got good news and bad news for Caleb Williams. We'll explain that here in just a few moments. This national analyst does not want anything to do with Mike Vrabel. Thought that was pretty interesting. And then lastly, hit that subscribe button. We're 100% free. Turn on those notifications. We've got videos every single day, live shows 3 days per week. Rock and roll with us here on Chicago Bears Now. All right, let's get to the injury report for Thursday. The second longest concussion in the NFL continues with Ryan Bates. The first, also on the Bears, with Jaquan Brisker. Teven Jenkins did not practice with the calf injury for a second straight day. These are mostly projections, by the way. They're just doing walkthroughs. Gervon Dexter with the knee, and then Marcedes Lewis with a rest-off day, like he always takes on Thursday. Not trending well for Teven playing. That's the bad news for Caleb Williams because obviously this offensive line has been in flux all year. I can't remember the last time we went 2 games in a row with the same starting 5 that started and finished said game. I really can't. I don't know if it's happened in weeks, so doesn't look like that's trending in the right direction for Teven Jenkins. The good news is it does appear that Braxton Jones might be out of the concussion protocol. He and Roschon Johnson were listed as full participants. Darrell Taylor, who got dinged up in the last game with the shoulder, he was listed as a full participant as well. That's the good news that Braxton and Roschon, I would think, have cleared the protocol if they're full participants. Maybe they're in the final step, but between now and Sunday, hopefully they are able to play. And let's say Braxton does play, but Teven doesn't. Who plays left guard? Because you don't really have an obvious option. You don't really have a natural swing guard anymore because Doug Kramer's kind of just a center and a fullback that doesn't know what you have to do when you go in at fullback. Kiran Amegadjie, who started at left tackle, more on him in a second. Larry Borom has played some guard earlier in his career, but he's more of a tackle. Jake Curhan played a little left guard earlier this year. He might be the safe option if you're just trying to protect Caleb Williams as best as possible. Might sound crazy. I would start Amegadjie at left guard. Maybe that's stupid, but what I would do is I would have a contingency plan. Like if you're 2 drives in and he's getting destroyed, you just take him out. But I'm intrigued to see Amegadjie at guard because he's pretty powerful. He actually had a few good reps in the run game against Minnesota on Monday night, but against speed rushers on the perimeter, he struggled. Well, on the interior, yes, you have to react quicker, but typically it's harder for a defensive tackle to just get right past a guard. So I would give him a nod. It seems like an insane thing to say. What are you going to do, trot out Larry Borom? I mean, it's not like you have good options. So I would probably start Amegadjie, but have a quick trigger in there and be ready to take him out. Who do you guys think should start at left guard if Teven Jenkins is out? Let us know in the comment section down below who you would put in at left guard. No to Mike Vrabel. Danny Parkins, former 670 The Score radio host, now with FS1, is firmly against the Bears hiring the former Tennessee Titans head coach. We'll dive into that here in just a few moments. But first, do have to tell you guys about our sponsor, Game Time. The college football playoff is just around the corner. And if you want to go to some of these games, get your tickets with Game Time today. You got Indiana, Notre Dame on Friday night. Maybe you're a Penn State fan, Penn State SMU on Saturday, Ohio State fan, Ohio State Tennessee on Saturday night. Of course, you can go check out the Bears on Sunday. Blackhawks, Bulls playing all the time, obviously. Get your tickets right now. Use the feature Game Time Picks as it filters out the fluff of thousands of tickets to show you just the incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time scrolling through all of those tickets. Game Time is focused on togetherness this holiday season. It's the perfect gift. Gift your parents some tickets to a concert, a comedy show, a sporting event, whatever the case may be. Get started today. So what you need to do is download the Game Time app. Use code ChatSports. Gets $20 off your first purchase only right now. That's code ChatSports, all one word, $20 off. Terms apply. Download Game Time today. Views from the seats, super deals, lowest price guaranteed, event cancellation protection. What time is it? It's game time. All right, here's Danny Parkins on Mike Vrabel via Breakfast Ball on FS1. He's doing a great job there, by the way. Mike Vrabel is fine. He's a good coach. If you want to coach Ohio State, great. If you want to coach Joe Burrow and Dak Prescott, where the Bengals and Cowboys have established quarterbacks, great. The Bears need an offensive coach. They need to find their Kevin O'Connell, their Sean McVay, their Kyle Shanahan, their Matt LaFleur, all first-time head coaches, by the way. Which one of the 6 wins in Mike Vrabel's last 24 games as head coach convinced everybody that he's Vince Lombardi? It's kind of glaring. 6-18. He had a 7-game losing streak to end the season in there. Not great. Now the quarterback thing fell apart. I remember they had to start Josh Dobbs in a winner go home game, and he was on the couch like 5 days earlier. Look, I think Parkins is saying the main part of what he's saying is one part of what I've been saying. The home run scenario is hiring an offensive guy that you hit on and you pair with Caleb Williams for the next decade plus. You're Shanahan, you're McVay, you're LaFleur, you're O'Connell. Because what does that mean? It means that if he hits and if the quarterback you have hits, you are stable at the 2 most important positions in your franchise, hopefully with GM as well. That's TBD, obviously, for the next decade plus. That is what you're looking for. If you nail those 2 things, head coach, quarterback, things kind of just fall into place, typically. So it would be nice to have that. Like I've said, Vrabel's a solid choice. It's like hitting a double. Hitting on the home run guy or on the offensive guy, that's a home run. Hiring Vrabel to double. I'm not going to bitch at it if they do it. I'm not going to complain. There's certainly a lot of appeal to just going the safe route here. I would certainly understand that, but I kind of agree with Danny where it's like, if you can get Ben Johnson, just do it. Like that I think that's worth the risk, considering what's at stake here with this young quarterback. Pros and cons of Mike Vrabel. He's proven above 500 record, AFC Championship game, won the AFC South one year. He knows how to do the job. Number 2, I think he'd set a culture. He was able to do that in Tennessee. Now it faded late, and I think sometimes we overvalue these words like leader of men and culture and all this stuff because that should all be a prerequisite of getting a job. But I do think he would come in and shake things up from what you currently have, and he'd do it in a hurry. So I do think there's value in that. He's well connected in the league too. He should have access to some decent coordinator options. Now, again, if you get the right offensive head coach, you don't have to worry about OC that much. You just get someone in title who doesn't call plays. It's not that vital to your operation. Whereas if you go CEO, you got to get the OC and the DC right. Cons, defensive guy. Why is that a con? Well, even if you get the right offensive coordinator, chances are that guy ends up getting a head coaching opportunity down the road. So you just run into potential offensive coordinator changes. Now, you could argue, well, if the Bears become a team where they start losing their offensive coordinator every few years, that probably means things are going well. And so, sure, again, I'm not going to complain if this is what happens, but that is a real thing. You're already going to be at minimum on your 3rd play caller for Caleb Williams entering year 2. Shane Waldron, Thomas Brown, insert whoever calls plays next year. So you're already changing your OC a lot. And if you go Vrabel, that risk could continue with the cycling of offensive coordinator changes. So that would be number 2. And then the last one here, like Parkins said, 6-18. Last 24 games there. That's a rough stretch. It's one thing to finish one season on a bad note. I remember one of those years, they just got hammered with injuries and they just lost a bunch of close games. So be it. That's like a year and a half. That's a long time. So I think the Bears would have to dig into that and kind of figure out the reasons for that happening in his last year and a half with Tennessee. Now, I've said it. Here's a new analogy. I've made the baseball analogy. Double, offensive guy, if it hits, home run. I think the best chance at getting a top half of the league, top 15, top 16 head coach, is to hire Mike Vrabel. But the best chance to get a top 10, top 5 head coach is to take a swing at a really young and talented offensive guy. Now, that's also a better chance of not even getting a long-term head coach. He could flame out more likely. But, again, it's really what you're comfortable risking here. I think with Caleb Williams, it's worth taking the risk with an offensive guy. That's kind of where I'm at. I'm not going to be upset if they hire Mike Vrabel, but I think these are things to consider as you conduct your search if you're the Chicago Bears. Pick a hire. Who would you rather have? MV for Mike Vrabel, BJ for Ben Johnson. I would take the swing at Johnson. Vrabel's high on my list. I've had him at number 2. I do think there's a gap after Ben for me. I think I'll put it this way: Joe Brady and Liam Cohen are closer to Mike Vrabel than Mike Vrabel is to Ben Johnson for me. But that's kind of where I'm at. MV for Vrabel, BJ for Ben Johnson, or drop a different name in the comments below. My name is Harrison Graham. We will continue to cover every single angle of this Bears coaching search as it's in the early stages of it. Once the regular season ends, that'll really ramp up. We got you covered here on Chicago Bears Now.